y'all, what's up? I am back, trying to do this consistently. It was a little bit of a struggle for me to think about what to even talk about or like what to even do. For one thing, I'm like, okay, should I do something exciting this week to try to get more views? But at the end of the day, I decided like this is my thing, like talking to you like you're my friend, girl talk, whatever. If you're a guy watching, sorry. And you know, just kind of being myself. And of course I'll switch it up here and there. I'll probably have some friends on here, something like that. But for the most part, I just want to be myself. Today, I did not feel like doing my hair. It's still up in its little pineapple. But I threw on some makeup for y'all so I could look presentable, So anyways, you're probably wondering what my big, juicy addiction is to. I have to admit that was to pull you in. So I'm addicted to achievement. Womp womp. I know you're like, oh my gosh, clicking away. I thought you were addicted to drugs. No. But I mean, it's kind of a drug, figuratively. Not to disrespect anyone who's ever been addicted to drugs, but I mean, it's a type. You get a high. You get a high off of achieving and approval and trying to be the person that you think everyone else wants you to be. As you already know, I'm an Enneagram nerd, and in my last video, I like put all the links below so you could figure out what Enneagram is. But I'm a 3, so I'm a performer. I'm sure there's some like childhood stuff that caused me to have that tendency. So I am like, I'm like the achiever times 10. I was your teacher's pet. I was your like straight A's, all honor roll. Like I was that kid. I was a teacher's pet. I was really smart. I was always just, I don't know, I was just always that kid, that smart kid, and I pride myself on that. I would cry if I got C's. You can ask my mom, my parents would be completely unbothered about my grades. Like, I think in high school, they were great and loving parents, but when you have a adult child like me, you really don't have anything to worry about, especially in high school. I think they maybe went to like 2 of my parent-teacher conferences. Because I was just a very like self-sufficient, independent kid. I did all my stuff. I would have a breakdown to where my parents would be like, it's okay. I would have a breakdown literally over grades, over progress reports. I got a D in math in middle school on my progress report, which is not even your official grade. And you would have thought that someone died. And my parents were like, chill out. We'll go talk to her. It's okay. Like, that's what they've been my whole life. I've always been freaking out, and they've been like, chill. So, anyways, from the beginning, I've always been an achiever. As you can see, I would achieve accolades. I think just growing up in church, I would try to achieve friends, especially in the church world, just because I felt like, you know, hey, I'm the Christian kid, I'm the good girl, everyone loves me, maybe you'll invite me to like your group or whatever. Like, you know, I think for me, a tendency of a person like me is to always find the group that I think is like the highest, the group that I really want to hang out with. Like, ooh, if I hang out with these people, I'm gonna look really good. And so, of course, like in my youth group, I had that in my head of like a group of people that I really felt like if I hung out with them, this is it. And so even though I loved God, I mean, I think at like 15, 16, 17, I was really like focused on performing and wanting to be like this perfect girl and like hoping to achieve like admiration, hoping to achieve friendship, hoping that people would look at me and be like, look at all she's doing. Oh my gosh, she's awesome. I want to be her friend. Like that was a big thing to me. So I would try to achieve friends. I would try to achieve love. Like one of my first relationships, I achieved it. Okay. Even when that person didn't want me for like a whole year, I was there. You know, I was very young, and so was that person, but I felt like if I could just, even if I'm like plan B right now, if I can just work my way to like top position, I can win his heart. I can do it. And so I would try to achieve love, or my version of love, and I would have tried to achieve God's affection. I mean, of course, I would grow up hearing, you know, we can't earn God's love. We can't earn his mercy. We all fall short. I knew that. But I think, like, especially with people like me, in the back of your head, you're like, but there's got to be some bonus points, right? There's got to be some brownie points. So I would compare my life to other people, and I'd be like, I will never do that. I will never, oh my God, I will never do that. I will never do, like, I remember being so naive in high school and just saying all the things I would never do. I'll never be like that girl crying over her boyfriend. Never gonna do this. I want to be whatever the perfect Christian girl looked like. I wanted to be her. I wanted to be that. And so if that meant, like, I never kiss my boyfriends, I never have a kiss until I get married, if that meant, I don't know, whatever that meant, I wanted to be her. I want to be the perfect student, the perfect everything, and I think I really thought that I could achieve everything in life. Like, if I just did all the right things, if I just pushed my way, that I could achieve anything I want, and that is not true. That is not true, and I quickly learned that even if you do all the right things and you achieve someone's love, you achieve accolades, you feel like you can achieve God's love, you feel like you can achieve the friends, the type of friends that you want, it's never enough. And then also, because life is life, there is no recipe to the perfect life. I thought if I just do this formula that I created for myself and that I felt like church created for me. When I say church, I mean in general, like America, the Church of America. You know, you can't deny that if you grew up in church, there's like, they don't say it, but there's just like a way you should be. And so I was like, I'm gonna check all these boxes, my life is gonna be wonderful. Even after like a catastrophic breakup, I still kind of thought like, well, I messed up, but I can make up for it now. I'm going to follow like all the rules of my favorite like Instagram like Christian preacher, and I want her life, and we're gonna do that. You know, it was always formulas. I always felt like I can do this. And it wasn't until I think with maturity and like looking at life and being like, life is not like linear. This is not like a formula, that I realized this doesn't work. And then I truly looked around and realized, like, man, I need God's help. I need his grace. I cannot achieve it. Me thinking that I can't achieve it means that I have pride and I feel like I don't need him. And I do. Every day. 'Cause I don't know what's going on. You think you know what you think you know what life is supposed to be like, and you don't. So anyways, I was actually going to talk about something completely different today. But I was in like quiet time this morning and I was reading this devotional, and one of the passages they had us read was about the prodigal son. And I was like reading it and I was like, Lord, I done read this story 1,000 times. And God was like, yeah, but this time I'm going to show you something different. And I was like, okay. So I kept reading. And you guys, if you don't know the story, I don't know if there's like a couple versions. I'm no theologian. But you can go to Luke 15, and hold on, let me make sure. It's like Luke 15. I'm probably gonna edit this out, but it's okay. Wow, and then my Wi-Fi went out. Lovely. Anyways, it's in Luke 15. I will drop the whole, like, the exact verse below, because I don't want to keep you here with me looking at my iPad, but yeah. Let me make sure I'm Gucci. So anyways, so basically, you know the story. It's like, I'm sure you've heard the story, but basically it's where this rich father, he has 2 sons, and the youngest son is like, yo, dad, like, just give me my money now. Like, I just want my money now. And so the dad's like, okay, fine. And he gives him his inheritance, and the son just goes and, like, has a wild time with it. Like, I guess if you're thinking of modern age, think of, like, going to, like, Hollywood, Miami, and just partying every single night, VIP section, okay? Paying for all your friends to sit all your friends to sit in the VIP section. That's expensive. I'm not a club goer, but I just know, okay? And so you have all this money, you're partying it up. It's like, yeah. And you're not budgeting it. You don't have a job, so you don't have a flow. And actually the economy like crashes and you run out of money. So now you're broke and you're poor and you ain't got no money. And you actually go work on this farm feeding pigs. That's what he's doing. Not you, but I hope you're getting what I'm saying. I'm trying to make the story relatable. So the son, he works on a pig farm. He actually starts eating the pig food, which is like the lowest of low. And then he's just like, hold up. I can just go, like, I know that I may not be well received by my dad, but I can just go and work for him, and his servants eat better than I'm eating. So I just need to go home. So he decides to go home. And when he was like down the road, his dad started running towards him. His dad was so excited to see him. He, you know, had them put a ring on his finger, put a robe on him. He was like, we gonna have a party, kill the calf, like all that. And then it's just like, it's a party. And he's like, Dad, I'm not worthy. And he's like, no, you came home. You've been found. Like, you know, his dad was just happy to have him. But then, like, towards the end of the passage, the oldest son, remember he had two sons, the oldest son who's been faithful, he's been working, he's been, you know, just slaving, and he is, like, pissed off. He doesn't come to the party, and his dad goes and looks for him, and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, I've been slaving for you, doing everything you want me to do, like a faithful son. I have been faithful. I have done this, all the lists. I have done all of these things for you, and I never disobeyed you, but you've never thrown a party for me because of my faithfulness. Never once have you even given me a goat that I could feast on and celebrate with my friends like he's doing now. All you wanted was a goat, okay? And he's like, but look at this son. Look at my brother. He comes back after wasting your wealth on prostitutes and reckless living, and here you are throwing a great feast to celebrate for him. And he's just like flabbergasted. And now I want to rest on this son, like on the oldest son being mad. Have you ever been there, like where you have been just doing all the things? Maybe you've been like waiting, you're abstinent, and then you see someone who maybe they haven't been living on the straight and narrow, and you see them get everything they've ever wanted when they get saved. They just get blessings upon blessings, and you've been reading your Bible, you've been being abstinent, whatever you've been doing, reading your Bible, being abstinent, doing all the things, going to church, and you've been doing it for years, and you have been waiting for your blessing, and this person just gets blessed like that. And they just got saved 2 weeks ago. And you'd be looking like, hold up, Lord. I don't know how this works, but I have been on the clock longer than this person, and they just got paid, and I haven't got paid. And so that's how, that naturally as humans, because we think with the worldly mindset, we are like annoyed. Like, yo, I've been doing all this for you, and he been doing it for 2 seconds, and he gets everything. That's because in the world's mind, you work for everything that you get. You earn everything that you get. You go into work, you clock in, you clock out, you get your paycheck for those hours. But that's not how God works. At the end, the father responded to him and said, my son, you are always with me by my side. Everything I have is yours to enjoy. And when I read that, or when I finished that passage or the story, God was like, the son felt like he had to work to earn love, and he didn't realize that he could have everything that the youngest son had, that he had access to it, that he didn't have to work for it. I bet that if that son had said, hey, Dad, I want to go in a party, that the dad would have been like, for sure, son, get the goat, get the party. But my interpretation of it is that he didn't realize that he was truly a son. If you read it, he says, how many years have I been working like a slave for you? Like, God says that we are his sons and daughters, that we are not slaves to sin, but we are his sons and his daughters, and that we should, we have inherited a royal priesthood. So we are literally everything that Jesus has access to, we have access to because Jesus paid the price. So we are now sons and daughters along with Jesus, and we get to inherit all those things. And so that son, the oldest son, he could have had the same thing if he would have just asked for it, if he would have just realized, I don't have to earn this. Like, if you have a kid one day, or if you do have kids, it would be weird for your kid to be like, Mom, I'm working for my dinner. And you're just like, what? You're my kid. I'm going to feed you. Why are you working for dinner? Like, I'm going to feed you. It's the same thing with this concept. I think that personally, sometimes you feel like, okay, I gotta do like all these things, and then God's gonna give me this because it's what I earned, and that's not how it goes. He blesses us because we're undeserving. We don't earn grace. We could never earn his love. It was already paid for at the cross. Jesus died on the cross. He paid for everything. There is nothing we could do. There's nothing we could do. So maybe you're sitting here and you're just like, man, but I have been doing all these things, and I feel like I have achieved the blessings. Like, I feel like I've been trying to achieve my blessings. Like, where are they? And I would just say to you that just kind of refocus and fix your perception on who God is and why you're doing those things. If you're just saving yourself for marriage because you want to get married and you feel like this is the fastest way, you need to reevaluate, because even though God will give us the desires of our heart, we don't do those things to get from him. We do those things because we love him, because he's our dad, just because he has renewed our minds and our hearts to want to do the right thing. So when I read that this morning and the Lord revealed that to me, I was like, oh my gosh, we act like we're slaves. We act like we're paupers. Like, we're poor, like, we come to God, we're begging him to bless us, we're begging him, and he's like, all you gotta do is ask. You don't have to achieve it, you don't have to earn it. There's nothing you could do. So, yeah, I hope I conveyed that well enough, and I don't know. I just hope that if you have an idol of achievements that you bow down to, that you're addicted to, achievements, that you would give that to the Lord and ask him to help you not feel like you have to chase after love and achieve it, achieve his love, achieve other people's love, but that you would know who you are in Christ, a son, a daughter, and fully root yourself in that truth and truly know that you have an inheritance that you don't have to work for, so that you can stop comparing your life to other people and stop being jealous of people, but just like, no, my life is different from hers. And I know that whatever I ask, according to his will, he's going to give me. I don't have to achieve it. So, thanks for watching this far. I'm in rehab for my addiction. But for real, like spiritual rehab. He reminds me every day, especially in this season, that I can't earn anything and that I need to rest. And I hope you guys realize that too. So if you have an addiction, if you can relate to what I'm talking about and you want to talk about it, please comment below. I'm going to put the full passage for the prodigal son. I'm going to put that verse in the box below, in the description box below. But thanks for watching this far, and I will talk to you guys later.